Hi, I'm Julie Hill-Lynn with 11 Marketing Consulting. Thank you for joining me today for my part 3 in my 3-part series. Today we're going to talk about advertising and marketing in the changing media landscape. I'll tell you what, it changes, I swear, almost daily. So it's hard to keep up. It's hard to know what to choose as a business owner, what is going to be most effective to advertise your business or service. So I'm going to cover some of the main things that people typically use to advertise the platforms, and then give you some of the advantages and disadvantages, and then make my recommendations at the end as to what I think is going to be most beneficial for most businesses. So let's move on. Who we are. So like I said, I'm Julie with 11 Marketing Consulting. We specialize in sorting out the complexity among the various marketing technology components. One of our specialties is advertising. Again, that's what we'll be talking about today. But some of our core capabilities are social media, branding. We can help with media planning and buying, your content marketing, digital strategy, event marketing. And just so you know that what we do is custom for every client. We don't feel like there's a one size fits all. Everybody's needs are different. And so one of the things that I think makes us special is that we take the time to understand your goals, your needs, your whys, and then we create a campaign or a plan based on that. So if you ever need our services, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, let's move on here. Maybe. There we go. All right. Advertising. I know it's, not everybody's favorite subject, but it's one of those things as business owners that is necessary. It really is important. And so some of the things I highlighted here: sending email is free, creating a Facebook page is free, Twitter outreach is free, cold calling is free, so is publicity and referrals, but advertising costs money. And so why is it that even with this wonderfully low cost and free ways to promote your business, I say that you make advertising one of your core lead generation tactics. In my experience, people shy away from advertising not because of the cost, but mostly because they don't know how to get the results and they don't understand the long-term residual effects. And I'm going to add on to that, most don't understand all the different platforms and complexities that are involved with each. So they sometimes just do nothing, which isn't going to be effective. So when done effectively, advertising is an essential part of your business media mix because advertising is the only medium that you can control. It also is because it allows you to target your ideal customers only. Also because advertising creates awareness for your content. And then also advertising adds credibility to your message. And then also advertising amplifies everything else that you're doing. Okay, here we go again. So how to change consumer behavior through advertising. So I think these are really kind of a good summary, 5 key points that will help you when you're strategizing about your advertising. The first thing is point out their problems. Sales are often driven by the need to solve a problem. So whether it's being out of a household cleaner or not having a car, or deciding to quit smoking, advertising must remind the consumer that a problem needs to be resolved. So you want to remind them of the problem and a solution. Do the research for the consumer. So advertisements that draw attention to studies in which experts support a product or idea lead the consumer to a desired conclusion regarding your product or service. So comparison pricing between your product and the competitor's product also provide research for the consumer. Furthermore, it helps keep the consumer out of the competitor's arena. So you should always be knowing what your competitors are doing, which I'm sure most of you do. But then also when, you don't necessarily want to disparage your competitor, but take what their pain points are and highlight how you do a better job of that, or why you're better, or that, maybe you sell, 10,000 more widgets than they do, so you are more respected, whatever that might be. So doing that research. Ask for the sale. I can't believe how many people still don't ask for the sale. So at some point, consumers make a purchasing decision. You have illuminated the problem, you'd offered a solution, and completed the research for them. Asking for the sale through expiring coupons or buy one, get one free promotions or other methods changes consumer behavior in your favor. And And that can be utilized or done through a myriad of ways in your advertising. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we head through the slides. Keep the consumer hooked through post-purchase behavior lures. So offering warranties and referral bonuses in the future ads. Keep the consumer coming back. So satisfied customers will potentially tell their friends about your business. And so that is really important too. Referrals are free, as I said. So after the sale, doing some sort of follow-up, you know, a referral bonus, or, you know, just even asking them, you know, thank you so much for your business, but would you mind giving us a review? Can really help your business, especially, you know, when people are searching who they want to do business with. And then you place your ads strategically. So an ad for plumbing repairs does not belong in a pet store newsletter, obviously. A hardware store flyer, newsletter, or magazine is a much better choice. So place your ads where your customers will see them, and then advertise consistently enough to have your company recognized by the readers. So when they need a service or product, your company comes to mind. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about. Traditional media, so you'll see their television, radio, billboard, print are typically what are considered your traditional media. You also have your social media, and this isn't the complete list, but this is, you know, kind of the key ones that most people use: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Google Ads. And finally, digital media. There are other forms of digital media, but the one I will talk about is mobile. So television, and I also put television and cable together, even though you have network TV and cable television, they are run differently, and there's advantages and disadvantages with both. I'm just going to kind of group them together. So advantages, a lot of people are still watching TV. Yes, they are, especially since COVID hit. You have more and more people watching TV than ever. It does continue to evolve, so you're going to see you do have a lot of choices in networks, and you see a lot of secondary networks coming up where people are utilizing those for content. So it's just, you know, TV is definitely not what it used to be. In addition to that, you have like 24-hour news networks, things like that. And then it has higher engagement than, for example, radio. Some of the disadvantages are, if you want to create an ad, it can be very costly. And then if you don't spend the money to create a good ad, your ad's just probably not going to look very good, and that's going to reflect on you. It overlooks the mobile crowd. So it kind of is not taking into consideration or tapping into those people utilizing mobile devices, with the exception of cable television, which does a really nice job of that, because you can stream your networks right from your phone. And not that you can't do that on a network, but it's a little, I think it's personally a little bit trickier. I have an app from my internet provider, and I hop on, or my cable provider, it's one and the same, and I can literally watch anything from my mobile device pretty much at any time. Negotiating screen time can be challenging. If you look at, for example, we just had an election, and with all the political ads, it was very hard for a business to get space to actually buy for television or cable. And the other disadvantage is there's a lot of channels to pick from today. I don't know about you, I think I have like 300 channels. So trying to figure out where to put those ads and which networks can be really difficult. Radio, so some of the advantages, they're economical compared to other forms of marketing. They're movable, so people hear it during traveling or wherever they might be. So if you're on the boat or the motorcycle or your car or at work, you can catch those people where they're at, and they have a targeted audience. And what I mean by that is each radio station has a specific demographic that they're trying to reach, and then you would purchase your radio ads based on that demographic who they're reaching. Some of the disadvantages are there's no video. So video is still considered king. And the reason is when people can actually see it, it connects more with them. It's more relatable to them. So you don't have that with radio. Lack of universal appeal. And then there's no creativity. So kind of, I don't know, every radio ad can start to sound the same. So you really do lack a lot of creativity there. And then that space is so fragmented now. So you do have a lot of you know, for example, local radio stations, like if you use Detroit metropolitan area, or even a local station like WHMI. But then you also have satellite radio. And I personally subscribe to satellite radio because I like to choose whatever I'm in the mood to listen to at that time. And so I have, you know, another, 200 channels there. So it's very fragmented space. Billboard advantages, strategically placed. So if you're trying to target a geographic area, you can buy that billboard in that specific area. And then the audience conversion is high. Again, it's very visual. Now billboards are really fancy and they have, you know, lights and they're digital. And so there's, by seeing those ads, they do convert a little bit better than some of the other advertising mediums. Disadvantages. It can be very expensive to buy a billboard ad. And then especially if you're trying to buy one or more than one. So, you know, for example, if you buy, let's just use cable television as an example, you can buy just an area. So if you just wanted to buy Livingston County, you can just buy Livingston County and you can pretty much hit most households. Whereas if you buy a billboard in Livingston County and you want to try and target all of Livingston County, you might be buying 5, 6, 7 billboards. So you can see where the cost can really go up. Some people consider it a distraction. So when they're driving, especially maybe the digital billboards that are moving, you know, whatever, every 5 seconds, that can be a distraction. And then they're geared towards moving traffic only. So I don't know if you're going by a billboard at 70 or 75 miles per hour, you may miss it. Direct mail. So direct mail is a little bit challenging, and this to me is one of those mediums that are less appealing than they used to be. It's just, I don't know about you, but I get so many pieces of direct mail every day. And so, you know, I don't know, this isn't one of my favorite, but let's talk about the advantages. Brand retention, so having that actually placed in somebody's mailbox in their hands, you know, even if you're recycling it, which I do, you still will see the ad, right? And so there's some brand retention there. They do say that the response rates versus email are better. So direct mail could typically have a 2 to 4% response rate. I think that's a little bit high in the research. This is what it said, but I personally talk to a lot of clients all the time. That's a little higher than typically what they get. Household reach. So you can reach a lot of households with direct mail piece. The open rates are at 47%. So they're saying that, you know, if you do get a piece, there's a 47% chance they'll open it. You can personalize it. So you can use full color, you can use multiple images, and you can really make it personalized. And then it's very highly targeted, again, buying by geographic zone, zip codes, things like that. Some of the disadvantages, it can be very expensive to do a direct mail piece in a large area. Be very time consuming. So time consuming to create it, to pull together the mailing list, to get it sent out. It's not instantaneous. So, you know, I may get a coupon that does relate to me on a direct mail piece, and then it goes in my coupon pile. And I may not use it for a month or 2 months or whenever that need might be. So you're not getting that instantaneous action on it. It requires address data. So if you don't have that, it can be really challenging. Or if you're not keeping your list up to date, it's not going to be effective. And then it's just a lot. Like, people receive a lot of direct mail and it can be overwhelming. And so some people will just file it away in the recycle bin. Print, so newspaper and magazines. Again, I don't want to call it a dying medium, but it just kind of is. It's just not what it used to be. And there's still advantages to it, but it's not, when I think of placing ad dollars, it's not high on my list. Some of the advantages, it's lower cost than radio, TV, which is true. They've had to lower their costs because readership is down. Speedy publication and preparation. So yeah, I mean, they can turn out newspapers pretty, you know, quickly, and they can be flexible. So, you know, that's certainly an advantage. Some of the disadvantages, the life of your ad is truly short. So once it's out, they've read it, it's gone. Often the people will misread the ad, they scan it quick and they misread it. Readership has decline significantly, so you just don't have as many people looking or reading. And then news is obsolete by the time you receive it. So the 24-hour news networks, by the time there's a story, on Monday afternoon and you receive your paper Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, that story is already out of date. Like, you've heard that news already. So it's, they just can't turn it out or compete with 24-hour news networks. And then the other thing is that really only color advertisements are effective. They've really shown those black and whites, they just kind of blend in and they're not seen as much. All right, so now we're going to talk about social media, and it refers to websites and applications that are designed to allow people to share content quickly, efficiently, and in real time. And while many people access social media through smartphone apps, this communication tool started with computers, and social media can refer to any internet communication tool that allows users to broadly share content and engage with the public. So, one of the things is social media, for the most part, is free, right? So yes, you can buy ads on these mediums, which I think is great, but if you're just looking to promote and advertise yourself on some of these platforms, it's free. Businesses and social media key points to know. The social media marketing can be fleeting. You must be active on social media to use it effectively. It does focus on the customer and that your images are key. And so here's just kind of how they get, I don't know what the word is, two different types of social media platforms to serve. There are different types of social media platforms to serve ads on. So they're put into categories. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for, categories. So social networking will be like your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Google+. Microblogging, which is going to be like your Twitter or Tumblr. Photo sharing sites, so Instagram, your Snapchat, your Pinterest, and then video sharing, your YouTubes, Facebook Lives, Periscope, Vimeo. I am going to talk about some of these, but I'm not going to go into every single one. There's multiple platforms, but again, the ones I'm going to talk about are the ones that I feel like get utilized the most. Why is it important to be in social media? Because 3.725 billion active social media users are out there. They average about 2 hours and 22 minutes a day on social networking. And 7.6 accounts is the average amount of accounts that people have for social media. And you may say, well, I don't have 7. Well, you have a Facebook and an Instagram and a Twitter, maybe you use Pinterest, that you can see where, maybe it's something you don't consider social media, but it actually is. Here are some of the main ones. So for Facebook. Facebook is probably one of the biggest ones to utilize. Advantages, there are a lot of users, a whole bunch. It's lesser ad spend, so you can literally spend $1 a day and run ads on Facebook. There's great engagement, so people really do pay attention. It's easier conversion rate, so meaning if you place an ad on Facebook, you're very likely to convert them to at least to a website or a phone call. There's more interaction, so people really will interact with your page. You get analytics, so with media, it's very hard to know if your ads are working or not. Analytics are a great way to see if your ads are working, and then you have control of the ads, so you can choose what ads are out there and how they run. You can see from the analytics if they're working or not, and if they're not, you can change out your ads. Some of the disadvantages, well, if somebody doesn't like your campaign, there can be harsh criticism, and that's not fun. It's not fun to have that. On a side note though, if somebody says something negative, you can actually hide their comment. Not easy to understand ads manager. Facebook and Instagram changed their algorithms back in June, and now when you buy or want to buy a Facebook ad, it can be very complex. It may seem like you could buy it, but there are a lot of nuances to it, and that can be challenging. And then short attention spans in a crowd. Instagram advantages, ultra specific targeting. So that, you can certainly target a very certain group of people on Instagram. Instagram provides unique ad formatting. It provides meaningful analytics. Again, those analytics are important. And it distinguishes personal and commercial profiles. So for example, on Instagram, I have a personal Instagram, but then I also have a business Instagram. And that I don't think the two should be married. I think that if you have your personal, it's fine to promote your business on your personal, but your business should be your business Instagram. Disadvantages, it does have a limited audience, so it's not as broad and vast as a Facebook. It's not the best platform to reach men. Men don't utilize it as much. Instagram takes time to update and to keep it relevant. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be true about any social media. But again, if you're just utilizing it as a free platform, it's not that bad. Instagram doesn't always focus on e-commerce, and it's not always affordable. So if you want to buy ads and do it effectively, it can be a little bit more of an investment. YouTube, advantages, it is free to use. It gives you the opportunity to earn money through your videos, so it can be monetized. In saying that though, you do have to have a certain amount of followers or people who have viewed your ads in order to monetize. So you can't just create a YouTube channel and think it's gonna be monetized. It's fairly easy to use. It's, you know, if once you create your site, there's a little plus button at the top, you can upload, you can caption it, and you are done. An easy way to share information. So, you know, again, going back to that video is king, you can put a lot in a video, or you can have micro videos. So, you know, maybe you have, you know, 2 to 5 minute videos instead of, you know, maybe a 30-minute video. So it's a really quick way to get information out there. And then backlinks are generated. And some of you may not know what that means, but you can actually add like pixels or links back to, you know, websites, things like that. And so it's back-end information and data you can gather. Disadvantages, everything is public. Yeah, so you better make sure you want it out there because it is public. There's a lot of rules on YouTube. So make sure if you are going to utilize YouTube, you look into those rules, because going into the next one, your account can be disabled without any reason. Now, when I say without any reason, yes, it can happen for no reason. It doesn't happen as often. But if they feel like you are taking content from somebody else and just utilizing it yourself, or if they feel like you're posting things that are inappropriate, and they can deem it inappropriate, even if you may not think it's inappropriate, or gosh, forbid, they think you're kind of trolling on other sites, they will take away your page. And then the other thing is any advertiser can put an ad on your video. So for example, this is a great example. Johnson & Johnson bought YouTube ads several years ago, and there were Al-Qaeda videos that were bought and attached to Johnson & Johnson. So the Al-Qaeda ad ran, and then Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, they weren't happy with that. So Johnson & Johnson pulled their YouTube advertising. So you can control, you know, if you are, for example, a church and you don't want, if there's anything wrong with this, but for example, a tattoo parlor, because that's not necessarily your target, running ads in front of your church, you know, that may be an issue for you. So just a heads up on that. Twitter. I don't see people using Twitter as much for advertising, but I mean, it does happen and it's something to look at, but it allows a variety of ways to promote your brand. It does have a pretty good reach, and then you can schedule your tweets ahead of time. So that's really great. And this actually goes back to Facebook and Instagram too. You can schedule out your ads, like, you know, with my clients, I typically schedule them out a week ahead of time. So you don't have to literally sit on every day and post. You can, I typically do it on Monday mornings, schedule out for an entire week. And then it'll be posted a particular day and the time that you choose. So that's great. And then disadvantages, it can be expensive. It's difficult to derive the return on investment. It's just hard to tell, you know, if it's working or not. And there's a lot of spam on Twitter. Okay, TikTok. Yes, I know a lot of you are saying, why is TikTok on here? It's just, kids just use it. Well, I got to give TikTok credit because they are evolving and they're becoming, yes, they're fun and playful and have a lot of silly things on there, but there's also a lot of really great content on there, and it tends to be getting, gosh, almost more professional, or you know, less of that, not less of that younger demographic, but you're starting to engage in more, you know, 25 to 54, which can be a sweet spot for a lot of businesses. There is a huge audience base, huge. And then the other thing is they've created what's called TikTok for Business. And so that is a great, great advertising platform, especially if you are maybe a restaurant or a gym. I'm just trying to think of some categories where that might be kind of fun and playful. Schools, that might be something you want to consider. Disadvantages, again, tends to skew to a younger demo. And it's still relatively new, and there is still a lot to learn on how effective this will ultimately be. If you are, though, and this is an advantage, somebody who is trying to reach that really difficult 18 to 24 demographic or 12 to 24 demographic, you absolutely want to consider this. And then you have Google Ads. So the advantage is you can target your ads, and targeting gives you that ability to show your ads to reach people that have very specific interests to what your product or service might be. You can control your costs, so you tell them how much you want to spend every day. You can measure your success. So I have to say, you know, Google is wonderful about giving you analytics, and then you can really kind of weigh and see, you know, what's working, what's not, and then you can personally manage your campaign based off those analytics. Disadvantages, it can be very confusing to buy Google Ads. There's a lot of variables and components, and you could say, well, you know, they may give you 4 things to choose from. Well, what are you in this? What's your goal? And they give you 4 goals, but all 4 you feel like relate to you, but you can only pick one, right? And then you go to the next section, then you've got to choose, I guess, you know, what's the best. So that can be very confusing. You have to act reactively, not actively. So for example, when you start out a campaign, you kind of have to wait for it to get some traction. And then based on those results of how that ad's doing, you have to react to that. So you have to wait. And so, oh my gosh, I put out 2 ads and one's working and one's not. I've got to get rid of this one. Do I put a new one up? Or do I just increase the spend on this one? So you can't be as immediately active on it. You're forced to wait. So that's kind of underscoring what I just said. You have to wait for these ads to run for a period of time to see what's working. You need the required manpower. So it's involved. It's involved in creating the ads, scheduling the ads, doing the analytics, making the adjustments. And so it's, I would find a lot of businesses will avoid this just because you don't have the manpower. And then you can't segment properly. So if you are trying to specifically target, men 18 to 54, you can't get that granular in your Google ads. So you can find people who have an affinity for, like let's say you sell lawn equipment, okay? And your target audience is men 18 to 54. You can't target that, but you can target people who have an affinity for, maybe it's lawn care or home improvement, things like that. And then digital and mobile. Some of the advantages, it reaches people in a real-time situation. Who doesn't have their phone with them all the time or most of the time or someplace near them? You literally can be reached right away. It requires less content to be effective. So you can have a static ad, and as long as it's a cool ad, it can be pretty effective. It creates instantaneous response. So you can do a click here for more information, click here to enter, click here for free. It places content directly to people. And then the data is really easy to track. So you can see there's a pattern here with social media, analytics, analytics, analytics. Some other mediums do offer analytics. For example, I know cable television can offer some analytics with its digital products, but if you can get into advertising that gives you those analytics, I think the better it is. Disadvantages: people view ads as spam or annoying sometimes. It needs to be perfect the first time around, so no mistakes, no typos, no bad photos. Some users will make assumptions about your company based on the ad. So if it's a little bit of a departure from your image or core values, they may think, you know, they may not understand who you are, what your goals are, or just make assumptions. And then it can sometimes feel like telemarketing. And, you know, it's just one of those things, but I think it's pretty genius to be able to reach people anywhere they are at all times. And when we talk about digital and mobile doesn't just mean a phone. It can also mean your tablet and your laptop. So those are kind of the overview of, I think, the most commonplace advertising platforms. My recommendations: if you can be on multiple platforms, do multiple platforms. So if you have a budget and you can afford to do, you know, maybe some local radio and maybe some local cable television, and then you can do some social media ads, I think it's really important to be in different spaces, but again, targeting the same type of people. If you don't have an ad budget, well, I have two thoughts on that. One, you should be on social media and be very active on social media, posting once a day. Really don't post more than once a day. It's just not beneficial. So post once a day. If you don't have an ad budget, like I said, find one. Find a place to cut costs, or even if it's, you know, $100 a month, put those through and buy some social media ads, because they can be really, really effective. In most of the clients that I work with, we tend to buy social media. We are starting to buy more of Google Ads. I also think that, you know, this is specific for the Howell Chamber, but you're in Livingston County. You have something special in that you have your own radio station that's really geared toward Livingston County and the surrounding areas. So I think that if you can incorporate that, and then also some cable television, I think is going to be really important. And I'm not trying to discount the other platforms out there. I just, I've been in advertising marketing for 30 years, and you know, there's traditional media that's just not what it used to be. It's been slow to evolve like social media has. The other thing is video. Get as much video content as you can get out there. You can be putting that on your Facebook pages, on your Instagram pages, on a YouTube channel, on a commercial on television. So video is really, really important. So if there's a good takeaway from this, incorporate video. It does not have to be overly produced. You say, well, I don't have, you know, a great camera. I don't have great lighting. Guess what? Cell phones are so sophisticated today that they can shoot really great, quick videos. Incorporate your staff, incorporate customers. And so those are my recommendations. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have. I do believe that the Chamber will be posting this video. So if it's something that you want to go back and look at something a little more detailed or further, we absolutely will have that up there, and then you can reference it. And certainly you can always email me if you'd like me to send you the presentation. So there's my contact information, my phone number, my email address, and some of the social media platforms I'm on. And then for participating today, I have a couple benefits for you. I always do a free consultation. It doesn't cost you anything to have me come out and talk to you about your business. And even if I'm there for a short period of time, I can maybe make some quick recommendations. If it's something that's greater than what you can handle and you need my help, I'd be happy to quote you on a custom plan for you. Also, anyone who schedules an appointment with 11, you will automatically get an Amazon gift card. And then anyone who signs with 11 to utilize our services, you will get $250 off of your first month of utilizing our services. And that is with a 6-month commitment. And then finally, this is for anyone who refers me a customer that signs with 11, you will get a $100 Amazon gift card just for that referral. And again, that is if they sign. So I like to give back for people that are supporting me. And if this is not something that you can utilize at this time, call me 6 months down the road or a year down the road, or I just ask that you refer me. Refer me to somebody that might need some marketing, advertising services. And again, event planning, we do a bunch of different things. So thank you for your time today, and I appreciate it. And thank you to the Howell Chamber for asking me to do this. Everybody have a great day and take good care. Bye-bye.